All right, let's do this.
Let's
Okay,
do it.
welcome back. Welcome back to the Gentle Fatherhood Podcast. Firstly, thank you to everyone that tuned into the guest episode week, you should call it. All the feedback that I received from that was so great. I'm so grateful for that. And thank you to Tom, Adriana, Luke, and Sam. Eternally grateful for you guys stepping on and being as open as you are. And within saying that, I have another guest sitting here right in front of me. It's been a long time coming. We tried to organize this a couple of months ago, and now it's finally time for us to sit down and have a conversation. I been looking forward to this one so much. I said to I won't say your name yet, our guest before, that yeah, I'm excited to see what comes out and what impact comes onto this world. So yeah, without further ado, Mr. Ollie McNicol, how are you?
Ooh, thank you, man. Such a pleasure to be here. First of all, unreal opening with like a live sort of thing going on. Like this wasn't, just so everyone knows listening, Jacob's just done this while recording live with me, and being someone who produces podcasts, that is not an easy thing. So congrats, man. That's huge.
Thank you. You can thank Mr. Tom Clark for putting me in front of a camera so much and just keep going and going. But yeah, like I said, firstly, thank you for jumping on. I know you're a busy man. I know how much your time means to yourself and to me. So yeah, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for jumping on, because I've always wanted to have a conversation with you. I know we've had like a couple of messages and a phone call and stuff like that, but I'm just excited to just ask questions about you, because I found, like, especially with the job that you do, you find out about a lot about people. You find about where their journey is and where they've come from and what they've gone through. I just want to know Ollie and get to know Ollie. It'd be nice just to sit here and have a conversation about that. So if you're happy to do so and you are willing to be open a little bit, then yeah, I have respected this guy ever since I started this journey about nearly a year ago now. I've been in awe of what type of man he is and how he embodies what he says and what type of person you portray yourself to be. So yeah, I'm excited just to ask you a question and then sit back and listen to this journey where you've gotten to, and yeah, what's next for Ollie. So I guess the first question that I have for you is, like, in this moment right now, I know I asked this before, but it'd be nice to have it on the podcast. How are you? How is your day? How's your week? How's Ollie at the moment?
Beautiful. First of all, man, I do just want to emphasize how grateful I am to be here in this moment with you. The fact that for people who don't know, this is my first podcast being being the interviewee. And I just want to, further express my gratitude towards you for asking me to be a part of this, because having the gift of expression and being asked to just like express, and here's your space, here's your time, like just release. I'm eternally grateful for that in any moment in my life. When someone asks me a question and they want to hear what I have to say, that's huge. So I don't want it to I really want to emphasize how much it means to me. So that's first off. And how am I? I'm in a really interesting place, man. Really interesting place. How to elaborate on that? I've faced some real challenges within myself around trust, within imposter syndrome, as you mentioned, we were talking about earlier, and within judgment as well. And I'm kind of coming to the other side of that sort of part of the road now. And I'm just feeling nothing but I'm feeling bliss. Like I couldn't tell you anything right now that is affecting me negatively. I'm just like, I'm experiencing life and I'm enjoying it, man. I'm really, really enjoying it. It's from a place that I haven't been in for a while, but I'm coming back to it. It's like, it's all cycles. Like, but the way that I'm managing it this time round is really, really efficient and effective in getting to that next step, like one step back for two steps forward. It's just like that right now. So currently I'm just feeling that, man, just feeling the the shift.
Yeah. Wow. That's one thing that I admire about you is your articulation with how either you feel a certain way, you articulate it, but you take your time to articulate it, in the sense of, I've asked you a question of how are you, took time, articulated in the way that you wanted to say it, and then expressed in a way that is being true to yourself. I think that's a part of someone that does take time to build, but it's a sense of your soul that comes out as well. When you're saying when you say it like that, like most people would just say, yeah, I'm good. My day was like this and I did this. I feel great. But you've taken the time to articulate it, feel how you're articulating it and expressing it to your true self. So yeah, as you can see, this is going to be an amazing conversation if that was the answer from how are you. So strap yourselves in, get ready for this one. Next question I got for you. If you had to explain or express who you are as a being within a couple of sentences or a statement or however you would say it, who is Ollie?
Yep. Okay. Who is Ollie? Ollie is someone who is not a fan of small talk, as you could possibly get from that first question or answer of how are you. And I'm so passionate about expression and providing space for expression. And that would be the reason why I love the opportunity to articulate and get out what I'm feeling in the most vivid way possible. Because why not? If someone asks, how are you? Tell them how you actually are, and help them feel what you're actually feeling. So, okay, yeah, I've gone off again. Who am I? I was thinking about this morning because, not gonna lie, I have listened to one of your podcasts recently and I heard that question. I'm like, shit, what if he asked me that? Man, what's my answer gonna be? And yeah, the main standout is I'm someone who has come from a place of very limited expression, like in the past and growing up from a place of very limited expression. And the result of limited expression led to hyperreactivity. So when things did arise that were challenging, when challenges did arise or whatever, I was so hyperreactive because I felt as though there was no way for me to express anything leading up to that challenge. So things kind of just came up all in one big blur. I'm someone who's coming from a place of hyperreactivity, and now I appreciate the opportunity for expression so much. Yeah.
Nice. It's a perfect way to wrap up who you are, from my perception anyway.
Thank you.
That's how I perceive you as well. So yeah, well done.
Thanks.
It's a challenging question. It's a question that I haven't really been asked before, but yeah, I assume it's a challenging one to answer. So Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because
Love
it's
that.
like, who is your, who are you choosing to identify as right now?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I got to choose one, but I wanted to feel into something that has been present for forever. And that's one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You just took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say the exact same thing. I was like, there's no point. You just smashed it. Yeah. So as you can see, or as you can hear, Ollie is an amazing guy, an amazing soul, and very connected to how he expresses and how he feels and what he wants to say. Like you said, doesn't like small talk, which is a good thing. So when I asked you to come onto this podcast, originally I asked you a couple months ago because I looked up to you. I still look up to you, but that was the only reason why. Was I really look up to this guy. I want to have a chat to him. But now I see, still looking up to you in every sense of the word, but now I see how much wisdom and impact you can have on this audience that I have listening to me. Majority is males, majority is men that find it challenging to express in their true way. And I assume sometimes they haven't really had an idea how to express in a true way. So having this conversation is going to just sit back, listen, and you will see and hear and feel, most importantly, feel what true emotion is coming through your headphones or your speakers or your car. So my next question to you is, I have to admit something. I did like your Instagram, just so you know. I should be upfront with that. I did have a look. And where would you like to start for your journey that you've gone through so far? I know a lot of people know who Ollie is now, but I think it would be nice to go for a journey of wherever you choose, of like where this, say, you could say turning point or like a climactic point in your life where it's diverted in an opposite way. So yeah, the floor is yours, brother. You can dive in as much as you like.
Whew. Yeah. Oh, wow. Once again, thank you. That's an incredible opportunity. And you're right. It's not something that I've really delved into publicly or like to the socials. And that's not for any reason. Like, I am a completely open book. But you got to open the book and ask the questions that are, and then I'll read it out to you. Like, happier than, I'm so happy to share anything and everything. So thank you for asking me that. So, the most pivotal moments, as I mentioned, like from a young age, it was very restricted expression. And I experienced that through a series of kind of pivotal moments in my life. One of the biggest ones being, and I knew this would sort of be something that jumps out straight away if you were to ask the question of where did it all start for you. And I could say in the womb, but also one of the most pivotal and impactful times in my life was having to feel what it was to lose my father when I was in 2012. So I was how old was I then? If I'm 22 now, how old was I in 2012?
Don't put this pressure on me.
Okay. Anyway,
13.
Something. Yeah, that feels right. Something like that.
Apologies if that's wrong, guys.
Okay. This podcast is also about math, and it's all about learning here. So get out your calculators and So that's the first thing that comes out to that sort of question. And I would love to, while given this opportunity, I would love to kind of tell the story of that, if that's okay.
Hell yeah, it is. Yeah, all yours. I'm all ears.
Yeah, awesome. So, and I say there's series of events. So, you know, we've all had our shit through growing up, and but this is an event in the series that I would love to express, because I feel as though if everyone wanted to, because I've heard a lot, what is your story, Ollie? And I feel like when I hear that, it's like, tell me that story. So yeah, anyway, when I was around that age, 13 or whatever it might be, my dad, who I'd never really, I'd never seen cry or anything. He was the father, male figure, that's strong, and just like, until this experience, men were rocks and nothing else, and they weren't allowed to be anything else. So that's just a kind of, just something to emphasize where I'm going with this. So around that age, my dad told me that he was told that he had like a few months to live or whatever, and he had liver cancer. But what he wanted to do, straight after telling me that, he said that he wants to go on a trip to the UK, or like around Europe and stuff, with me and his at that time wife. Well, we actually, on this trip, we went and they actually eloped. So they got married over in Glasgow, if that's in Scotland. I hope that's correct, but that's what I've always thought it was, Glasgow, Scotland. So we'll go with that. And yeah, I just want to say there's not a whole lot of recollection as to this whole trip. But yeah, so my dad, his wife at the time, and me, we went on a trip they got eloped in Scotland. They eloped in Scotland. We then went to Paris and did all the normal touristy things of seeing the Eiffel Tower and whatnot. I saw where he was born and raised in Sunderland, England. Saw the house he grew up in. And we also went to this place called Lourdes, which I couldn't tell you where in the world it is, but it's Lourdes. And this was a place where people were said to have come. It's this big castle, and it has like water that drips down the side of it, and like this fountain and stuff. And people were said to drink this water, bathe in it, and whatnot, and be healed of their illness or disease. And my dad, being someone who would never have ever touched like anything to do with that and thought that stuff was just ridiculous, he was completely all for it, and he wanted to go and do this. And then that was my first realization of, okay, like something's seriously happening here in my life. My dad is showing signs of what I see now, human, that I had never seen. And then, yeah, so we went there, did all that. He did the whole thing, bathed in it, drank the water, everything. And our last stop on this trip was Switzerland, Zurich in Switzerland. Such a beautiful place. Like wherever you look, where I was anyway, that every single direction were just these massive snowy mountains in the distance. It was just unreal. And I don't know how long we were there, maybe a few days. But the last day, where we were meant to be waking up in the morning, packing our things and jumping in the taxi and going to the airport, coming home, that morning I woke up to a phone call from my auntie, dad's sister, who was here in Adelaide. And I was like, okay, what? This is weird. I don't even know how she's contacting me right now. And yeah, so I was like half asleep and answered the phone, and she said, you need to pack your things. Your dad's been rushed to the hospital in Zurich. You need to pack your things, get a taxi, and fly home because it's going to cost too much or whatever to refund or whatever, something to do with my ticket. Anyway, I had to come home, jump on a taxi, and get my flight and come home to Adelaide. And then 3 days later, I think, 3 days later, Mum came and told me that Dad had passed away in the Zurich hospital in Switzerland. And my last moments, or my last memory of being with him, and this is something beautiful I would love to go into as well, and some work I've done around that experience. But my last moment, or the last time I saw him, was the night before that morning. And it was the middle of the night, and I was woken up because I heard him, with what he was suffering through. He was coughing and struggling to breathe, and I was woken up by it. And I looked up, I was lying in my bed, looked over to their bed, and he was like sitting on the opposite side of their bed, facing away from me, with his wife, her arm around him, and he was just bawling his eyes out and practically like screaming, but like, in a way that it was just like so helpless. And this was, the night before that morning. So my last ever moment with my dad was teenage Ollie being all like pissed off because I couldn't get to sleep, and like, just shut up. Like, I just want to sleep. Like, stop making so much noise. I'd never seen him cry in my life. And in that moment I did. And so exactly that. The next morning I got my stuff. I don't know how I did all this. I don't remember it. But I did the whole process of, apparently there were people with signs holding my name, that sort of thing you see in movies. And they kind of like escorted me and all that. And then, got home, and then until my mum told me your dad has passed away in the hospital in Zurich, I was on autopilot. Until then, I didn't feel any of it, and it all kind of hit me at once. So that was the most impactful and pivotal experience, the first one anyway. And from there, it was a very, very rapid and aggressive downhill slope for a while. That's where I'm at with that story right now. Any questions on that?
No, mate, thank you for being so open and honest. I greatly appreciate that. I just thoroughly enjoyed listening to you retelling a memory, like you said, was a pivotal moment in your life. And if you would like to, because I know that you touched on it, if you would like to speak about the beautiful work you did around that moment, then please dive into it. It's I would love to hear about it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for remembering that. That's this is a really cool thing, because as I mentioned, being teenage Ollie, I was just annoyed and wanted to sleep, right? So the last feelings and the last form of expression towards my dad was just anger and frustration, right? And you can imagine the toll that would have on a young man, on a boy, after losing his dad and growing up and going into the world, knowing that was his last experience with his father, with no goodbyes or anything, just like, shut up, I want to sleep. It sounds absolutely horrible. And this was something that it wasn't until maybe about a year ago where I'd done a couple of breath work sessions with this beautiful woman here in Adelaide. Her name is Julie Way. Just for anyone who is in Adelaide or wants to step into that world, I would absolutely recommend Julie Way. And she guided me through that memory, and she assisted me in creating a whole new one, which was just the most beautiful experience ever. And obviously I can tell the story as it was in that moment because I know what it was, but at the same time, I don't attach any pain to it anymore, because I got to live it again. I got to relive it in this breathwork session. And I'll tell you what happened. So in this guided breathwork session, she kind of guides you, and, when she notices that things are coming up, or, you might have twitches, or in this situation, I was completely bawling, screaming. In this sort of breath work, you tap into your inner child and allow your inner child to speak. And it was very clear that this was happening. And I told her what I was feeling, the pain around that memory and stuff. And she gave me this pillow, and she said, I would like you to grab this pillow and visualize your dad in that moment. And instead of staying in your bed, get up, walk around to his side of the bed where he was sitting, and his partner, his wife at the time, was sitting. Put your arm around him as well and just squeeze him so tight. So that's what I did with the cushion that she gave me to do this. And she said, just tell him whatever you feel you need to tell him in this moment. And I was like, ooh, yeah, whatever, all that stuff I was experiencing it all. Like, I was a wreck, but I got out the words, I love you, Dad. Thank you so much. It's okay. And just like be at peace. It's okay. Thank you. And it changed everything that's attached to that experience and that memory. I can relive it in such a beautiful way. And I know that some people may hear that and think, well, isn't that just living a lie? But as I said, I can tell exactly what it was that actually happened, but I can tell it with so much pride in that I faced the shit and the judgment that I had towards myself. And I can just allow a different feeling to come in and allow a different emotion to pair with this, knowing fully well what happened, but allowing myself to feel all the beauty around it as well. So that was the work that I did around that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, going through that moment in your life, that pivotal moment of being awake at night where your father was on the other side of that bedroom, and then going through that through your 6 years of your life to then work through that through a breath work, and then create another journey throughout your mind. How important was that breath work session?
I feel as though it shifted the whole trajectory of where I was going moving forward. And really just like solidified the importance of expression. And that's all about, and that's why I'm so passionate about what I do with the events and the experiences, where it is just simply people show up and whatever they need to be on that given day, the floor is theirs to be that. And another big thing around that, and what I emphasize in these experiences, is that I may ask a question, I may ask someone a question, they can give me an answer, and I don't have to say anything. I don't have to give feedback. I don't have to give advice. I don't have to give anything unless it's asked. And that was what I realized within this breathwork session, that there was no guidance other than there was guidance, but there was no feedback. There was no feedback or advice. It was just like, whatever you need to feel right now, I can guide you in a way where you can feel it and process it on your own. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's 100%. Like with throughout visualizations, like you said, coming out of that, you don't need any feedback, or you don't need any other words. You don't need to say anything. You just sit in that moment and allow what is allowing to come out. And yeah, that's such a beautiful moment in your life. And like I said, going from that moment into another moment where you're able to create a different perception of that moment, it's such a beautiful, and I believe a critical moment in your life to be able to do so. And yeah, that's why visualizations and guided breathworks are such a valuable key and a strategy tool, however you want to call them, to truly connect to memories, or truly connect to who you are as a man or a woman, and allow yourself to step into a realm of what you've always wanted to do, if that does make sense. And what a pivotal moment. What a pivotal moment. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, definitely. It's the power of stillness, right? Like, man, has stillness been a big part of my my journey so far? Like, just appreciating stillness. Yeah.
It's mate, I'm sure you're the same with with all my guys, with my clients. Stillness is such, soon as you begin work with me, stillness is such a key thing that we focus on. Like, it's it may seem like a pointless thing, and it doesn't work for me. And no. Like, I don't want to talk to your ego. I don't want to talk to your child. Like, I want to talk to who you are, and this will allow me to do so. So yeah, sitting in that stillness is such a beautiful thing. And it's something that we can all truly dive into too.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool that it's a huge part of what you do. I appreciate that so much. It's kind of like, the way I've seen it is stillness, and putting yourself in stillness. That could be anything. That could be sitting in a stillness meditation. It could be putting yourself into an ice bath, which I'm so passionate about, or a cold shower. And those moments of stillness where there's nothing else that could possibly influence you or impact you in your life other than what is right there and in the moment, it primes you before anything else can prime you. Like, it's kind of like, man, in this world, I've realized it's like prime or be primed. It's be the primer or the primee, in that you can set the standard as soon as you wake up in the morning, by priming yourself in whatever way you prefer, you like to do, whether it's writing or any of those things I mentioned. And then your day will follow. Your day will follow in a way that is relative to the priming that you've done. And the importance of that is that if there's no priming of any sort that you've done, first off, when you step out into the world and you see, all right, maybe say you drive past a bus stop, and you see on the side, like, the sign of the advertisement is something to do with the flu shot or whatever. You've just been primed. You've just been primed to receive information that is fed from a really, just like, oh man, I probably shouldn't have even said that. I don't want to get into it, but you've been primed with something that makes you so vulnerable, and so vulnerable to then receive more and more and more. And watching the news, it's just like that when you make a decision to sit down and watch the news, you're priming yourself to receive more around whatever that news was about. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Funny. I think I've told this on a podcast before, but coming out of the Transformer, before going down there, my one big thing that I always used to fall back on was like, I called it like escaping reality, but in the sense of just my phone, just like watching my phone all the time, or put it on the TV and, my partner's trying to have a conversation with me and I'm watching Neighbours or Home and Away. Like, come on, man, like don't need to be watching that. So, but I believed I was just doing it so I didn't have to face any type of like aspect of reality that was going on in front of me. And I had this really pivotal moment before going down a Transformer. This was a couple of years before Transformer, but my daughter said, why doesn't dad want to play with me? And why does he just want to watch videos instead of me? But she didn't say that to me. Like, I was still asleep. She was still saying this to my partner out in the lounge room, and my bedroom and the lounge room is very close together. And I heard that, and still surprising to me, there was no emotion that came out. I was more just numb from just escaping reality so much, like just watching videos, just consistently watching videos, watching TV, had to have a screen, a laptop, something to distract. And then went down to Transformer. And as you know, that's such a pivotal joyride that is. Won't even get started on that. But I come out of it and I come home, and I drove down to the Transformer. So I live in Newcastle, New South Wales. So that was like a 10-hour drive there and back, like drove down, drove back. And well, firstly, my reason for driving down was, if I drive down, I have every opportunity on that road to turn around and go back. If I'm on a plane, I don't. But if I'm on that road, I can literally just turn my wheel, go into the other lanes and go back where I came from. And I wanted to challenge myself, not driving for such a long time. It didn't bother me, but I wanted to challenge myself of just driving towards a challenge. And for the first time in my life, actually facing that challenge instead of picking my phone up and escaping, or putting a laptop in front of my face and escaping. So drove down there, drove home, opened the door, and I looked at my lounge room, which still had TV, still had an abundance of stuff everywhere. And I was just gone, this has to go. Everything has to go. So I sold like 80% of my lounge room. So I don't have a TV anymore. I don't have, we used to have this iPad. That iPad's gone. Everything, like, to escape reality except for my phone, which I need for work, but everything else is just gone. And people come around to my place and they say, how do you live without a TV? It's like, in my reality now, I say, how do you live with a TV? Like, I don't understand now, coming out of that and doing such deep inner work and seeing what I was truly doing it for. Yeah, watching that news and watching all these things is just brainwashing my mind. And people hear the word brainwashing and they're like, oh, here we go, another woo-woo guy. Oh, he doesn't always talk. I'm not talking about me walking around in a zombie, but yeah, stuff that you do see is brainwashing and priming you, and, really tapping into something that I didn't want to be tapped into. So yeah, I truly know what you mean when you say, all that statement about watching the news and stuff like that, because I was doing it for such a long time in my life, where I just come home from doing work with Tom and I was just, no. If I have changed my identity, my environment needs to align to that now. So yeah, all of this needs to go. My partner's, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, just get rid of it now. And it's honestly the best decision I've made. Like, just like, I read a book now instead of watching TV.
Yeah.
If I want to watch something, I read. It's such an amazing thing.
And yeah, how is your relationship with your daughter now then?
Oh man, how long we got? Oh, it's such a from going from that moment where hearing that sentence of, yeah, why doesn't daddy want to play with me anymore? Like, why does he just want to watch videos? Like I said, that didn't bring up emotions until I allowed the emotions to come out and I wasn't numb. And yeah, that all come out in the transformer. That just spilled out into an emotional ball. And now my relationship with my daughter it's such an amazing feeling, having a soul that I've created that now is in my life forever. And I am not here to tell her what to do. I am not here to put restraints on her. All I'm here to do is just stand behind her. And if she falls down, I'm here to pick her up. That's it. That's all I'm here to do now. And I am not going to tell her that she can't do something. She can't do this. She can't do that. She can't try this. That is up to her. Even right now, being a 3-year-old, whatever you want to do, you're allowed to do so in a safe manner, but you're allowed to do so. I'm just here for whenever you fall down, I will pick you up. And then if you ask me a question of, am I allowed to jump? I'll say, yeah, but how high? They're the only questions. And yeah, but our relationship is so good now. And I've got a 6-month-old now, a little boy. And yeah, I'm so thankful and grateful the universe has allowed me to have these 2 souls in my life. I've done a lot of deep questions within myself throughout my meditations and visualizations. And I just ask myself all the time, like, why me? Like, why do I get these souls? Why do I have these amazing little children and beautiful people right next to me? Why? And to be completely open and honest with you, I still don't know. But that's where the trust comes in. And that's where my allowing myself to just go, yeah, sometimes you don't need the answers. You just need to trust that that's why you need them. So yeah, without going off on a tangent, my relationship with my daughter now is more than I could ever imagine. And yeah, growing up without a father and now stepping into a world where I am a father, very difficult and challenging transition, but so thankful, so grateful, so yeah, abundant with love. And yeah, she turns 3 in in about a month, nearly 2 months actually. Where did that time go? Yeah, that's my relationship in a nutshell. Thank you for asking. That's the first time anyone's asked that. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's so beautiful, man. That's so beautiful. That should be the whatever your landing page for your work is, that just that bit of the video, that should be the that whole story should be on the landing page of your website. That's beautiful, man. I love it. I absolutely love that. And I love, as you were mentioning that, I was just like feeling into the gratitude I have around the fact that I've, since like growing up and those really those years that I was without a father, how big they are for a teenager. And I'm just like, I often forget how many incredible influential men, like father figures I have in my life. But there are so many there, and I'm just feeling so grateful that I've attracted men like yourself. And I feel as though I am the man I am today because I have been fortunate enough to have people like you, have men and fathers like yourself, and just really incredible men. So I'm so glad you exist.
Thank you. Sending that love straight back to you. Fatherhood's a challenge. It's a journey, but it's such an amazing journey as well. I believe a lot of men get caught up in the thoughts of how am I going to change a nappy? How am I going to look after this child? I've never looked after a child. How am I going to do this? Which I did for a long time, and I got caught up in that for such a long time. It's not until you have this realization where it's not about how you do it. It's about what you're going to do. Like, when am I going to do all of these things? And you just sit back and you reflect, and you just, like, I just sit there and watch them. Like, she could just run around out in the backyard and I just sit there and watch. And you have moments where go through your head where you do have reflections of memories of when you were a child and how things were either different or similar to what you've gone through right now in these moments. And just seeing her happy is not only the true thing that means to me, but it is allowing me to see that I am doing the correct thing to me. I don't care about what she has in life. I don't care if she's got an iPad or if she's got the most fancy clothes or if she has this or she has that. I don't care about that. And to be completely honest, she doesn't need them. All she needs is a correct attitude, an abundance of love around her, and parents that are behind her no matter what, never in front. That's something that I truly want to get across in this podcast. Parents are never, or in my reality, I should say, parents should never be in front of their children. And what I mean by that is you're not there to tell them what to do. You're not there for that. You're there just to simply guide them. And the best guides are the ones that are standing behind and just there to pick them up whenever they fall, or if they want to do something, you guide them. It's as simple as that. And I've got a couple of guys that I work with that are fathers, and yeah, that is a couple of things that come up for them in the sense of not knowing what to do. Just guide, man. Just simply just guide. Don't read into it. Don't dive into it too much. Just look at them, smile, and when they smile, you know you're doing the right thing. As simple as that. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about me. I've got a question for you. I wanted to ask you this question. This isn't the last question, by the way. I know I've
Awesome.
G'd you up for this
I'm
question.
glad it's not. I don't want it to be over yet. So cool.
I wanted to ask you about this for a while, but I thought I would save this for the podcast. In my reality, this is an infamous photo that shifted and shaped my journey. When I seen this photo, I was just like, that, I want that. Whatever that is that. And the photo that I'm talking about is when you and Tom are embracing. That photo, to me, I was going through difficult moments in my life. I was going through challenges, the ones that I spoke about before, where my daughter perceived that I didn't want to play with her. And I was in a dark place, but seeing that, I was like, I want that. And then funny enough, of course, the universe just brings Mr. Jacob Weatherly into my life. And he's just like, hey, I've got that. Let's do something together. But yeah, firstly, explain to people that don't know what I'm talking about, what that photo is. And secondly, how much was that a pivotal moment in your life?
Yeah. So yeah, first of all, whenever I should probably mention, okay, there's so much to say here. I'll try to unpack it smoothly. I now have I'm now fortunate enough to be working alongside, or rather assisting, the man who changed my life in the most profound way, in a way I didn't know was possible, in a way I didn't really know existed in life and existence. Like, I didn't know it was something that could be something that people go through. And that sounds so whack, but yeah, so this photo that you mentioned was after the Transformer, when a couple of years ago, when I was simply just an attendee of and a client of Tom Clark's. And I just experienced the whole Transformer event, which I think back then it was the 4-day experience. I know it's 5 now. Yeah, but back then I think it was the 4, maybe, or maybe even 3. Man, anyway, it's irrelevant. it's a journey regardless. And you, whether it's 3 days, 4 days, or 5 days, you experience a lifetime. And that moment, that the photo, that capture was at the very end, saying the goodbyes. And what came up in that very moment was a hit of, holy shit, I'm realizing what I've just gone through. And I broke down in that moment with Tom. I was crying in his arms for, it would have been at least a few minutes. Everyone was all getting ready for photos, like, yeah, we've done it. We've created this incredible, these amazing business plans or whatever. And they're all getting ready for photos and piling up and everything. And I was like, oh, and I grabbed him, and it was another moment for me to release and like fully look at what I'd just gone through, and what I just achieved, and what I just let go of as well. That's what was happening in that moment.
Yeah, it's if you haven't seen it already, jump onto Ollie's Instagram. It will be about a couple of years ago, that photo. Hey, just scroll down, have a look. You'll see the one that I'm talking about. It's such a beautiful photo, and it guided me through some times where I didn't know what emotions were. I didn't know that men hugged. Like, I didn't know that. Going through the Journey of Strength on Jacob's program, very first time, this is not even a joke, the very first time that I heard two men say to each other, I love you, was during that program. That was just under a year ago. Yeah, very first time. And being I'd like to perceive myself as a fully grown man. Like, only hearing that for the first time when I was 27, it was a beautiful moment. And photos like yourself, what you've gone through with Tom, it was such an amazing moment. And when if anyone is listening to this and is about to go to Transformer, get ready. It's this my only thing that I'll ever say about a Transformer, because I've had people ask me about it before. The only thing that I will ever say about it is just trust what Tom is saying and allow. That's it. And just lean into everything. Because there will be moments where things will come up. You might want to say no, but if you say yes to it, honestly, the best thing that I've done, I've said that to Tom before. I rank my moments within my life is getting down on one knee to my partner, having my two children, and then doing the Transformer. They're the top three. Like, words can't describe how thankful I am for that guy, and to be able to do work with him now at the end of the year in October, it's just going to be even. I can't wait to see what comes out of it. It's such a how does it? That's my other question that I had as well. It just came to me. I know now. If anyone doesn't know, Ollie works alongside Mr. Clark now. How was that moment? Being asked by Tom to begin working with him, and shifting your reality once more into a different realm that you haven't experienced before. How was that?
Yeah, thanks for asking. That's a big one. Yeah, because Tom, I just want to make it clear, Tom took a chance on me as a client, as an attendee. Tom took a really, really big chance on me. And I say that in the way of Tom does not just take anybody, and absolutely is that the case now. But I want to emphasize that what that means is that you're only going to be able to experience Tom Clark's wisdom and guidance if you're ready for it. And also, if you're ready to do the work. And I say that because when I first attended the Igniter here in Adelaide, which is the first, the initiate, it's the Igniter. It's like that initiating first step on the journey with him. I was the only person in a room of 10 or 12 people who had absolutely no idea of what I was doing. Didn't have a business, didn't have a plan, didn't have anything. And I was in this room full of business owners and people who had these, really clear, they had clarity. And yeah, clarity, it changes, it shifts, but I had nothing. I had no clarity. And there was a moment at the Igniter where Tom could see what I was like going through, and I was just, and then he pulled me aside. He actually took me out of the room. And that's the thing. He gives the people the time. He gives them the fucking time to express what is really going on. So he pulled me out of the room, and I said, man, I don't think I'm meant to be here. I don't think I belong here. I have nothing. I simply can't give you anything. You know, you go through those workbooks have all these questions to answer. I had nothing. Like, what are your, I don't know. What's an example of one of the questions in the workbook? Just like, what would be an example? You've got it?
This is like my Bible, by the way.
It stays on the desk.
Yeah. Let's go. What do you want, stuff around content or
anything
branding?
like something as simple as like, what is the impact you want to have on the world, or what is the, like, why do you do what you're doing, and something like that. So if you have anything like that, shoot it out there. I know there's a lot there.
There's a lot. Yeah, exactly what you just said. What type of impact are you going to have on this world is one that's just right in front of me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well done.
And yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome. And yeah, I had simply had no answer to that. All I knew was that I wanted to have an impact, and I wanted to, you know what? All I knew was at that point in that moment was that I wanted to have an impact on the greater good of the world. That's all I knew. It's not as simple as that now, but yeah. So, and Tom took a chance on me in that I was giving him nothing in return. And he said, he said, I want you to come to the Transformer. He said, I know that you have no idea what you're doing. You have no plan right now, but I just want you to trust me, and I want you to be there. I want to work with you. And yeah, and then from there, so much has come from it. But where was I going with this? How did I start? Yeah. So to have him ask me if I would like to work alongside him and be the person who, it's really cool. We called it like the enrollment specialist or something, and the alignment specialist. And that's exactly what it is. It's just a fancy way of saying it. Yeah, to now have that opportunity is just, it's very challenging to put into words, because I'm now having the conversations with people to get them to the events like the Transformer, the Igniter as well. And I'm the one who justifies and makes a decision as to whether they're ready for this experience. And it's very challenging to put into words, but I'll never forget the fact that he took a chance on me, and he trusted in me, and he saw something in me that I was not yet aware of.
Yeah. And I think the world can see what he could see. I think Ollie can see that now as well. And from my personal experience, jumping on a phone call with you, it was like the first time that we've contacted before. Excuse me. And I was organizing to go to the Igniter, and I grabbed my phone and I was like, had it up to my ear, and I was shaking because I was like, oh my God, okay, I have to give this guy a call. Great. First 3 sentences from Ollie, I was just like, okay, it's not that bad. All right, this is good. And then, so if the reason why I'm saying that is, if you are thinking of doing work with Tom, or you are, leaning towards that idea, this is the guy that you get to talk to. So you've heard this podcast, you know how welcoming this guy is. And what do you have to lose? Like what, there is nothing. There is nothing at all. There is no awkward moments. There is no moments in the phone call where you're like, don't really like this. I can't do this. Like, there's no moments like that. And I was so grateful just to, you hear Ollie's voice when he picks up, and you just go, oh, okay. I'm okay. I'm safe. This is fine. This is all good. So cool. So working alongside Tom, you've gone through these amazing moments. You've come out of Transformer, and now you've turned into this man. What's this man offering to the world now? I know what it is, but if you were going to detail about what this amazing product, service, impact that you're offering, how would you go about it?
I feel as though I've gone around it this whole time, but more than anything, and this stemmed from when it was just a podcast. So I had the Raw with Ollie McNicol podcast, and that was the first thing that I created, working with guidance from Tom, and realizing that was the first step for me to open space for people to express. That was the first, the first form of doing what I love to do. And then what people may or may not know is that it then stemmed to the retreat, the Raw Tribal Retreat. And obviously the name Raw just simply comes from precisely just as is, just as is. Raw is whatever it is default, whatever it is on the day, just simply as is. And the tribal part of it comes in because along my journey, I've realized the power of community, and the power of people coming together and experiencing things as one. And I was never aware of that. Like, as I mentioned, sorry, dog's letting me know that someone's probably somewhat close to the house. So I lost my train of thought there. What was I saying? What was the last thing I was saying?
You're up to the tribal aspect of what Raw means to you.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, through childhood, I felt as though I had very limited expression, and that came from the fact that I felt like there was so much going on around me, and like my older brother, really in the trenches of. I always say that I'm so grateful for the stuff that he's gone through and the decisions that he's made and where he's at now, which is absolutely tragic. Just on quite a dark path right now. It's his journey. It's all good. It's going to be incredible. I know he's going to come out the other end, but I always say that he made the decisions and the, you could say, mistakes for me to then see and not have to make the mistakes myself. But in that, it was very much, there was no spotlight left for Ollie. There was no like time for me to step in and express feelings or emotions or anything. And that's exactly what the Raw Tribal Retreat is. It's coming together as tribe and as family, as community, and being able to, bring like our individual medicine to the tribe. And in tribes, in real tribes, what they used to be was like, there was no leader, but everyone had their own medicine. Everyone had their own way of thinking and different things to bring forth. And it was because it was like a communal bowl of knowledge and wisdom. The possibilities and the the guidance was infinite and endless. And that's exactly what I bring to these raw tribal retreat experiences. Even the ice bars and the cold immersion gatherings, it's simply showing up with what you have so far, and being open to what others have experienced, and simply observing different journeys that people have been on. Yeah.
Yeah. If once again, if you've had any inkling that you felt like doing this, please do it. Like, just please just get in contact with Ollie, and just send a message.
Thank you.
Yeah, please send a message, because it's a journey that you will love, and you'll love Ollie, and Ollie will love you, and it'll be such a beautiful experience. So that's such an amazing, this is such an amazing, most welcome. Yes, it's such an amazing offering that you're giving to people. And yeah, it's a nice way to wrap that conversation up into a ball. So here comes this last question that I got for you that I've been ramping
all right,
up.
I'm gonna have some water. Give me a sec.
Yeah. Ramp it up. We've been ramping up this conversation before we started the podcast. I didn't want to spoil what I was going to say, because here's the funny thing about this question. I don't know what I'm going to ask until I start it. So
I love it.
Yeah. So I know the structure of the question, but I don't know the actual question itself.
So there was no way of, even if I'd listened to every other podcast and heard what you said, there's no way of me knowing what this is going to be. Awesome. Okay, let's do it.
No. It's always, like very structured to what you've conversed about. So my question to you, Ollie, to wrap this conversation up, which is going to be a message that's from your true inner heart out to this beautiful world. If you could have a conversation right now with that 13-year-old version of Ollie that was going through all those trials, tribulations, challenges, everything that he was experiencing in his life, there was such a pivotal moment. If he was standing there right there in front of you right now, what would be the one thing that you would say to him?
You know what? It may seem so obvious, because I've said it this whole time. I've just been drilling the word expression, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm just fucking passionate about it, man. Anyway, what I would say to my 13-year-old self, you know what, man? I would just hug him. Like, I would just embrace him. I don't feel called to say anything to him or ask him anything or give him anything other than just embrace and hug him. And from that, he'll know. It'll kind of like, it'll be without saying. It'll just be like me offering, what do you want to say, man? What do you want to say, Ollie? Like, it's all good. This is your time. I'm holding you. Release.
And do you know, like I said this to the other guys, do you know what the beautiful thing is about that? That means that you're truly aligned to what you're doing, because what do you offer to people?
What do I offer to people?
You offer that exact same thing that you've just said, because you're offering it to your inner boy. So like, that's the most beautiful message that you could ever say, because you're saying that to your inner self, which therefore means you are saying that to whoever wants to join you in your beautiful tribal community. So which therefore is just eternal love, because you love your inner boy. So that's why that message is such a beautiful way to end that, because you're just conversing to your inner child, which is then conversing to everyone around you, which is such a beautiful thing.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I love that. That's such a beautiful way to put it. And as you're mentioning that, what came up as well was just like, maybe if I was to say anything in words, it would be like, release judgment of your judgment. So just like whatever you're judging yourself or anyone for, stop judging yourself for judging them. The judgment of judgment is painful, and it's a really, really it's a horrible way to live. Like there's an incredible book. Do I have it? It's not up there at the moment. I think I lent it to someone. The Judgment Detox by, do you know it? Do you know the author?
Never heard of it. No.
No. All right. I'm going to get it right now just for the sake of people knowing. The Judgment Detox. Yeah. Gabrielle Bernstein. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. So The Judgment Detox, Gabrielle Bernstein. This is such an incredible book, but she talks all about the how detrimental and vicious it can be to say, we have a judgment. We judge someone. We're walking in the streets. We all do it. Say we just have a judgment. We judge someone for something. It could be what they're wearing. It could be how they smell. We might walk by someone and they stink. And when you are someone who is so heart-centered and so in touch with your feelings, because those people do judge as well, we still have our judgments. When you've realized what you've judged someone for, it can really suck and it can really weigh on you. So, and I did it a lot as a teenager, so that's why I'm mentioning this. Release the judgment for what you've judged and allow space for something else to come in. She puts it beautifully, but yeah, that's something else I'd say in words. But yeah, also thank you so much. That was a really beautiful way to sum up what it means to speak to your younger self. So yeah, that was cool. Thank you.
You're most welcome. It was an amazing message that come out of yourself. So yeah, thank you. That's all I've got to say to you is thank you. Thank you for being Ollie. Thank you for guiding so many people that you haven't realized that you've guided. And thank you for your loving nature that is allowing people to love. And thank you for being a guide that a lot of people need on this earth. So yeah, I have a lot to be not in your debt for, but I have a lot to thank you for, because my journey throughout this has been structured by a lot of people. Jacob Weatherly for sure, then Tom, yeah, for sure, but also yourself as well, because I'm still in awe of the way that you conduct yourself and the man that you are. So you may not have done work together, or we may not have, truly dived into any type of content, but the essence of the person that you are has shaped me into a man that I wanted to become as well. So yeah, thank you. And lastly, thank you for jumping on this podcast and conversing like the way that you have. It was, such a beautiful podcast. That was one of my favorites that I've done so far. So thank you.
Oh, man. Oh, huge appreciation. Thank you. And you're so welcome. Wow. Yeah, that really, I feel it. I'm receiving that. That's huge. I'm so thankful, because I've now opened up to a really large audience through you, through what you've gifted me this, in a way that I haven't yet. And it was quite a daunting thing. I'm so open to talk about anything, but it's still daunting. And I'm just so glad that you were the one to hold this space for me and allow it to just flow however it was going to flow. So huge appreciation, man.
You're most welcome.
So much love. Thank you.
Such a good time. I love doing these podcasts, especially with guests like yourself. Hey, next 2 minutes, it's all yours. Plug away. What do you got to plug? What's all you want to throw out to this world? Socials, offerings, whatever you want to say, go for it. It's all you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, man. The number one thing, Patreon is something that I'm absolutely getting into and drilling right now. And it is so incredible because Patreon is a way that you can provide value and put a number on it. So what I found was like things like Instagram, yeah, you can provide heaps of amazing value, but if there's no number or anything on it whatsoever, it kind of leaves it just kind of up in the air as to how valuable whatever you're putting out there is. Whereas something like Patreon, where it's like a tier-based membership, I can put something out and like the lowest form of membership is like $4 and it's simply showing your love and support. And I provide more content depending on the membership type. But what I've found so awesome about it is that I can not only provide more value because I can put more time and energy and resources into it because it's something that I'm receiving income from, but the stuff I put out is appreciated so much more because people are actually putting dollar value on it. And you would know the importance of paying for something and how much beauty comes from investing into something that is so valuable and investing into learning and knowledge. So that's, Patreon, please check that out. It would mean the absolute world to me. It means I can keep offering and putting out this value that that so many people have benefited from so far. That's number one. And anything event-based and anything around experiences that I'll be holding, they'll all come up on Instagram. So anyone who isn't yet following on Instagram, please check that out. I should have said the Patreon is Raw with Ollie McNicol. The Instagram is just Ollie McNicol. And if people who prefer Facebook, I think it's just Raw with Ollie McNicol on the Facebook page there. But yeah, thank you, man. Far out. Thank you. I can't. Oh man, thank you.
Yeah, mate, you're most welcome. I've just thoroughly enjoyed just sitting here and conversing with you. It didn't even feel like a podcast. It just felt like a normal conversation. So make sure you guys head over and check out his check out his Instagram. Don't have to jump on anything else. Just check his socials. You'll see how amazing this guy is. And and then if you do feel the love and connection, jump onto the Patreon and show Ollie some support as well. So head over there. And then, if you want to follow my socials at the Gentle Fatherhood, go for it. More than welcome. Send me a message and let me know how amazing this guy is. Gentle Fatherhood Podcast on Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Please give it a rating, follow, whatever you have to do. If you want to give it 5 stars, give it a 5. And if not, let me know how I can improve this. And that's us. That's a podcast in the bag. That's all I've got to say. Thank you, Ollie, once again. And for everyone listening at home, I will catch you guys tomorrow. We know that we have these podcasts from Monday to Friday, every single weekday, providing content for you guys. So make sure you jump on, follow. Much love to you all. And I will catch all of you guys on the next episode. Bye-bye.